I just built an AI factory that copies TikTok business where one single post hit 140 million plus views, and the whole thing runs on its own. Every morning, it writes its own prompts, generates 3 wallpapers like these, and posts them to TikTok with or without music, all in the background. You only need 2 subscriptions for it, so let me show you how to set it up. If you haven't seen these are the accounts on TikTok that post nothing but phone wallpapers, and this one has over 500,000 followers. The niche is anime, the art generally good, so it's no wonder it goes viral. And it's not just the views, it's also on Etsy, and people are packaging them as one of those sets that you can sell by thousands of copies for a few bucks. I'll show you the 2 ways how they make money at the end, but first, let's build this thing. The way it works is basically 3 steps. Step one, in which we generate good prompts. Step two, we turn those prompts into images. And the step three, we auto-publish them to TikTok. So that's the whole factory. So let's build it from zero. The first node is just a schedule trigger, and we set it to run once a day. So, for example, every day in the morning. Then I add one setting node. I call it setup, and this basically is the control panel for the whole factory. Your niche, which image model you want, and how many images per day to post. And day to day, this is the only node you'll actually need to touch. Now, for the prompts, the trick here is to start with the end in the mind. What we need at the end is one detailed image prompt per wallpaper, and the 2 things make that prompt good: the style and the character. So instead of one agent doing everything, we split the job across 3 agents where each one has a single job. So the first one is the style agent, and its only job is to pick one visual style per day. And I give it a list of 40 styles, so it can choose from things like origami world, wood blocks, prints, neon cities, and you can edit that list however you want it to be. Now, the agent needs a model behind it, and this is where our build gets simpler than the others. So I'm not going to connect to OpenAI account here. This is the Apex API chat model node. And this is the custom node that you will need to download in order to use it in your n8n. And the main thing about this node is that automatically allows you to choose from dropdown any model that you want, either OpenAI, Claude, Anthropics, Haiku, Opus 4.8, or whatever you want. And by getting to the end, the main thing for us is to choose the potentially fastest and cheapest model because we don't need some heavy thinking inside of this one. Then we need 2 small things: the think tool, which just lets the agent think before it answers, and an output parser, which makes sure the answer always comes back in the same format so we can process it. And that one matters because every node after this one depends on the format. So let's run a test and try to see what's going to happen. And the node is going to process. So let's focus on the output. And here you can see all the information that is coming out from the initial node for the style, and all the info is in there. But if we look at the second node, where we can see the output, we can see the actual full prompts that will be used to generate images. And this node will generate images for us via API on Apex API. So let's wait for the images now. And here are output images that we got via Apex API. I can see them inside of images dashboard inside of the website. The second agent picks the characters, 3 per day, from a list that you control. And this list is basically your niche switch. Swap it for cars or cities or game characters or your own original characters that you want to use. And the whole factory changes niche with it. And since we already generated images, let's now see what the output is from these characters with their names, styles, environment, and everything. And as you can see, these are the outputs that we get. And the third agent just brings those two together. It takes today's style, takes the three characters, and writes three detailed image prompts. And if you look at one of these are honestly better prompts, right, written than most people can do by hand. And it does very differently every single time when it does it. So make sure to use it to the fullest. Now for the images, first a small code node that just splits our three prompts into three separate items. So each prompt goes out on its own request, and the one node generates the images, same Apex API credentials, resource is image, and size is portrait, and the model comes from the settings node. And since we already ran a test, you can see on the right side the output with URLs with links to the PNG files. Now, if we want, we can go to Apex API and check those images or download the image on our own. The last step is publishing, and we are going to use Chat33 for that because platforms like TikTok only let accredited tools auto post. So one node sends our three links into Chat33, then a small code node combines them back into one item, so it goes out as a single carousel instead of three separate posts, and this final node publishes it. Now, I did promise audio in these carousels, but unfortunately in this video, I'm not allowed because of the copyright to include them, but you can check out the live post with the link below. There are only two things you change here, your Chat33 API key and your TikTok account ID. You can select it from the drop-down. Everything else, including the captions, fills itself from the agent. One more thing, because this is my favorite part. If I go back to the setup and the change just one word, so for example, we choose Seed Dream instead of Nano Banana, and run it again, we get a completely different art style. So the same workflow, same key, no new accounts, and that's the whole point of running everything through one gateway. And here are the two ways those accounts actually make money. So the first one is they use Etsy, where you link in your bio, link to your Etsy shop, and people can go to a store that is selling these as digital art, posters, and wallpapers. You can package them, usually 10 per set. And there are sellers with thousands of sales doing exactly this. And the second one is, for example, Patreon, where you can have wallpaper kits as a monthly subscription. And there are illustrators with 1 or 2 thousand paying members for this exact type of content. That's also why the workflow logs every image into spreadsheet, because that's basically your product catalog building itself every single day. And now the final step, in order to make this work, we will need to go into settings and then select community node. And inside of community nodes, we will need to paste the name of Apex API node, and you can see it on the screen. So, and let's enter n8n nodes Apex API and click install. Now it's going to take a minute or maybe less to install the node. Okay, perfect. The node is installed, and now we need to install the Chat33 node. So it's n8n nodes Chat33, and it's also going to take about 20 seconds. And the third node that we are going to install is Publicity node, and this one is optional, so it's up to you if you want to store your files on the web server. Okay, now when everything is installed, let's go into workflows. Let's create an empty workflow, and let's click import from file. Let's select AI Factory from the computer, the file that you have downloaded. And that's it. Everything is now inside. Now, in order to make all of this work, you will need to go to Apex API to grab your key and to Chat33 to grab your API keys. And once that is done, you will click on Apex API chat node, double click and click create credentials and paste your API key. Now Apex API is now fully connected. Now, when this is done, double click on the APX chat node and select the model that you want. And the second thing is you need to click on generate on image generator and just to refresh it. And you can see it's already connected. And let's reorganize a little bit so everything is in one place. I will be disconnecting Publitio at this moment. And let's go into Chat33. Settings, APIs, copy the API key, and now paste it inside of the credentials for Chat33. It will list all the accounts that are available. Now, you may need to reboot the server on which n8n is installed if something is broken, just to give you a heads up. So if there is an issue, just simply reboot the server and everything will start working. Now, let's run this workflow once and let's go into GB style to see how this is going to turn out. I'm still going to leave 3 images, and for the style, I'm going to leave empty so it decides randomly from the next node. And let's click execute. Now the first node executed, so let's check the output. Okay, everything looks fine. Let's move now into a second node. So the character node, it has done its job, so everything is ready. And the final node is going to create prompts, which it did. And the results have now been sent to image generation, and the publish has been completed to the TikTok. Now let's go and check the images inside of Apex API so we can see how they look. And perfect, our system is working. That's the whole factory. It costs around 30 cents a day and it works while you sleep. So the template is free, it's linked below, and when you import it into the workflow, everything builds itself. You just need 2 keys, Apex API for one for the models and the Chat33 for the posting. Both linked below as well. And if you build one of these, tag me. I generally want to see which niche you pick. So see you in the next one.